here's the money challenge that you're facing. You would have to cut about $700,000 from the proposed 2014 budget just to have a 0% tax increase. If you wanted to reduce taxes below the current level, you'd have to cut about $1 million out of the proposed budget. How would you do that?
I would look at where money is being spent. And again, the position the cities are now, we can only climb ourselves so much. Now there's been some bad deals made with sales tax with the county that we would have to reinvestigate and open up to, because from the figures I have and received, we're way behind in receiving what we should have received to the tune of $3 million. And the deals being made with the leasing group, as we're giving private developers $500,000 to take down the building that they bought for $1. This is money that's being spent unwisely as far as I'm concerned. And those are things that have to be addressed. And again, to come to a conclusion, I have a philosophy to come to a good conclusion. You get the facts, use a little bit of logic, a little common sense, and usually come to the right conclusion. Thank you.
We can start by not buying the kayaks that are planned for the city. That would save $120,000 initially for the initial investment, and then it would also save a monthly rental fee that it's going to cost the city if we invest in this project. Right now, the meters don't cost us anything. At the committee meeting yesterday, the mayor said that some of the meters have broken heads, and therefore some people are getting free parking. I would prefer to have a handful of people receiving free parking than to spend all of this money that we do not have at this time. Plus, to negotiate the fire chief's position, wait until the current chief leaves, and then go for a better salary. Lastly, I picked this up yesterday.
Your time is up, Mary.
Stop this.
Okay, let's move on here.
This is expensive.
Thank you. I bring to the table lots of experience over 20 years dealing with budget. And any budget, there is a projection. Most of the time, there are 5% to 10% added to the budget. These are the things that we have to go through very carefully in a budget presentation and preparing a budget. And we have to look at budget very carefully, line by line, and look at items that we don't need and items that we really need and we need to keep in the budget. By looking very carefully at the line items, we can be able to reduce budget, keep the same service we have, but be more smarter, be more efficient, and do things wisely. Let's get more out of every dollar that we spend in the city of Schenectady. By doing that, we can be able to reduce taxes and fees, and we need to be very careful of how we look at the budget. I am very versed in budget and things like that, and I want to bring that experience to City Hall, dealing with budget. Not cutting service, but cutting the way how we spend and the way how we can conduct service in Schenectady. Thank you.
Well, one of the ways that I believe that we can do that is, first of all, as Johnny said, to look at the budget line by line, to compare what we're spending this year versus last year, have the services increased, what's changed, and what can we do differently than what we're doing. Also, attracting more homeowners to the city so that we increase our tax base, and so we have more people putting into it, and along with homeowners, businesses as well. In addition to that, we should look at how we're bidding and making sure that any contracts that we bid, we're getting the best for our dollar. In addition to that, we're trying to bid and make sure that people closest to home, taxpayers who are going to pay into our tax base, are getting some of the contracts that we're putting out there. And making sure that we're not having any unnecessary spending on any raises that aren't warranted, but only giving raises and increases that are really contractual and that are required. Thank you.
Thanks, Marion. Marion brings up a very good point where we need to get some more of these houses that are in the city back on the tax rolls again. That alone would help in itself. But with $2.5 million, and I only spoke at the last Meet the Candidates night that we had, where I said it was only $1 million, I understated greatly. It's $2.5 million in unpaid parking fines. If we gather part of that right there, that's going to go and pay for itself for those new kiosks that we do need around the city. It would be very beneficial. But there's no sense in taking out a loan that we're going to have to pay on. We can't keep borrowing ourselves out of debt. It's going to go down our children and our children's children, as it already is. Inasmuch, some of the jobs that are being talked about in the city, like the assessor's job, if we come back into pace where that is supposed to be, along with other lines in other counties in the area, other cities in the area, I think the cuts that we need there as far as the spending is going to be very beneficial. Thank you.
Final response from you, Mr. Erickson.
Basically, it's a multi-pronged approach for the issue of lowering taxes. We're not going to lower taxes by 20% by cutting something else out of the budget. The only way we're going to do it is by, you want to keep a close eye on it, and you want to make sure that when we're doing our bid proposals that we're writing them so that they will allow for the most competitive situation. But the only other way you're going to really cut your taxes is to increase the value of the city cumulatively. The city council budget is only about a third of your tax bill. Your school tax bill is about half your tax bill, and the remaining 20% is your county tax bill. By crunching that number, you're only going to be able to affect the 30% of the city tax bill. But if you are able to raise the entire value of the entire city, we can do that. Now, how are you going to do it? You have to clean the neighborhoods up so that the lowest value houses are worth more. And I could talk about this for about 20 minutes before I answer it. It's a complex question.